Hello, CrossRoads. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So I got 10 minutes. Where's the clock at? Okay. All right, just lift it up. I was born in Germany. My name is Timothy Spidel. And I was actually born in Germany, and I was to a woman who was the fourth generation out to Wilhelm II. And she saw fit to have me. And my father was an Army captain, and they put me up for adoption. And my father in Overland Park flew over there in 1961. He got me and brought me back to Kansas. Brought me to Kansas, and I'll always be grateful to her for not having an abortion. You know, I've had a great life, and so, but I do like to push the envelope, push the limits, and I'm a very kind of an aggressive, assertive kind of guy, and so. Anyways, I graduated from high school with honors, and I have a proclivity to brewer's yeast. I like it. I like it a lot. And it's got me in that, combined with my assertive nature, has got me in a lot of trouble over the years. So I got a scholarship to the Kansas City Art Institute. I was going to be a high school art teacher. And I went out and got drunk one night and beat up a cop, and I had to go in the military. So I did 4 years in the Navy, got out, went back to college, studied civil engineering at K-State, and I'll give my whole testimony sometime, but I've had a good life. Well, in '94, I found myself in a bar, and I did another 6 years in the Army. I'm a combat decorated ranger, two CIBs, and a bunch of other accolades. Well, in '94, I found myself in a bar enjoying brewer's yeast, a lot of it. And I was with a bunch of guys that I was riding motorcycles with, had an old '59 Panhead. And one of them looked over at me and says, "You want a patch?" Beat up that cop, put him in the hospital. So I did. And not only that, I picked up his girlfriend, kissed her, picked her up, and carried her out of the bar. Well, I ended up doing a couple years in the Department of Characters for that one. I was out for a brief period of time, about 4 years on appeal, fighting it. I ended up getting I was really upset with my representation, and I ended up going to school and getting a law degree, a paralegal. I'm paralegal from Blackstone, paralegal out of Boston College. So what they didn't know, and I have a 141 IQ. I can assimilate to different things, and enjoy learning, and I enjoy academics. But I have a predilection to mischief and misbehavior, and so and that combined with brewer's yeast is a problem. It's been a problem all my life, but I've been clean and sober for 13 years. So, because 13 years ago, they were coming in the front door and I was going out the back door. There was a whole plethora of illegal stuff in my house in Manhattan. So I went back to the joint, to the Department of, and in there, this is where the good stuff begins. You see, I did time before, and I was behind the walls, and I was getting into the politics, the Aryan Brotherhood, and all the stuff. And I was going to the hole, getting in fights and the power and all this stuff. I didn't have the sense. I was like, the Bible calls it the wind and the waves. I was going back and forth. I didn't have, for all the smarts and books, I didn't have the sense to say, this is where it stops. I just didn't care. I didn't think far enough into it. I always relied on my body and my health to pull me out of situations I'd get into. And my body and my health was always there for me. I could always rely on my strength to get me out of, I'd get some determination and boom, I'm out, So, determination is the feeling you get right before you do something really stupid, and I know that. So, anyways, so I find myself in the Department of Characters again, and how much time do I got? 4 minutes? Man. All right. This is where the good stuff begins, because I was in there for a couple years. I'm getting out again. This was in 2009. Or I wasn't even in there for a couple years. I was in there for like 8 or 9 months, and they wanted me out. So, but I wasn't making any friends, and they weren't giving me these favorable parole things. So, that, my buddy that was in there that I used to ride with, his wife says, here, let him parole to me. Well, I did. Crystal Henderson. And we had a big party that night. I got out. Chris Henderson got out. He was president of the chapter in South Hutch. And I'm not going to mention any names because these people have done a lot of dirt to a lot of people. So I got out, and man, we had parties, strippers, the whole 9 yards. And this was December of 2009. And I'd been studying with the Amish while I was in there. And I saw these people, they would come in on a regular basis, and I saw that they meant what they were doing. They were genuine, authentic people. I mean, they believed, and they took time, and they would talk to us. It wasn't business as usual. They had a heart for God, and they built a whole life around that heart. And I kept coming back. I kept getting in trouble, but I kept coming to these, and they would allow, when I'd go to the hole, they'd allow these guys to go down there and visit me, and that's unheard of. But I got out. I paroled in this party, and I didn't want this anymore. I had saw that there was an out, and I wanted it because I was tired of the parties and all the. God had spoke to me, and He said, "If you want to live, you got to forgive." And so I wanted to forgive. I wanted to live. I saw beauty in everything I did after a period of time. And even in those stone walls, I saw colors that hadn't been there before. So I called Harvey Nisley. He came to the party about 11 o'clock at night, and I hadn't used, and I hadn't been with anybody, strippers or anything. I had just found myself not wanting to do this. And I'm on parole too, but that never bothered me before, I mean, I'll do what I want to do. So they came and got me about 11 o'clock, clip, clop, clip, clop, clip. And one of the guys, big old barrel of a man, says, who invited the Amish to our party? And I was like, I did, Chris. And So he puts his arm around me, and I'm thinking we're going to fight, blood in, blood out. But there was no blood to begin with. It was just riding, and brewer's yeast and whatever else. Well, he says, man, if you're going to be a Christian, be a good one. Don't come back here, Be a good one, And they all recognized that these Amish had created a world for themselves, and they respected this. All these guys, you see, sin respects God. It may want to bind us up, but it knows right from wrong, just like we should. And so I went with Harvey, and I spent 7 months with them, and they asked me, they gave me a place down on Salt Creek, a house, and they didn't know me. And the women would come in and clean the house and bring me grocery showers, food, and man, this is unmerited favor. I didn't deserve this. They didn't know me. They knew the wrong things about me, but they saw my heart change over a year going to their Bible studies. And so they took a chance. And I'll forever be grateful, because I still go down and worship with them. And I'm Brother Tim, They asked me, will you work, brother? Will you work? They didn't say, you will work. They said, will you work? They gave me the option of loving them back. Will you work? After they've given me a house and cleaned it all up and gave me a horse to ride to parole. And old Jed had pooped right in front of that parole every week, man. And they threatened to violate me if I didn't clean up that horse poop, man. You think I'd clean it up? No. And they told me clean it up. The Amish told me, say, hey, man, you got to clean it up. So I did. I started to, but anyways, make long story short here, we gotta go. But they showed me unmerited favor, and they're still my friends. I did work. They take a lot of pride in their ability to work, and so I picked up a shovel, and I competed with them, and I became Brother Tim. And that's a hallmark. That's greater than my CIBs. Is my standing with these people, because they're genuine. Thank you for letting me share. God bless you.